we go then to the final prospect of this week, and I don't know, this one's either going to be like 1 minute or an hour. We've got the most polarizing prospect of the Minnesota Wild prospect pool. Local boy, Charlie Stramel. And weirdly enough, I'm the highest on him. So
wow. That's actually like as far as being like polarizing, yes, but like we all are kind of in agreement as to like where he is.
But see, here's my take. I think we're all so fucking wrong right now on him because depending on how this year goes at Michigan State, he's either going to be in the 20s or unranked, or he's going to be in the top 10. Yeah. And I don't see it being anywhere in between. Well, so I'm just hedging more towards, I think he's going to lean towards top 10.
Yeah. And I think you're exactly right. Cause I think I was optimistic. I would, as a guy who watched Mankato hockey for 5 years and watched the way Mike Hastings coached and the way Charlie Stramel's profile was described in terms of being, this big physical forechecking guy. The fact that he didn't carve out that role in Wisconsin was a little bit concerning to me, but I think
hang on though, Brett, you know Mike Hastings well, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Have you checked Charlie Stramel's AARP status?
That's also true. Well, and Cato didn't want to focus on an in-state talent. That's a different discussion though. But it felt to me like he's type of player profile that succeeds under Hastings, and it didn't work out for him in Wisconsin for whatever reason. But I mean, like you said, there's a chance he could explode this year. He's going back to a coach, that he's played for before that has a lot of trust in him. So there's no excuses left. It can't be, I had felt pressure from being drafted by my home state. There can't be, I was passed over for veterans. I was coached by a guy that didn't recruit me. Like all those excuses are gone. He has to prove it this year. Like he has to be on their top line. He has to be a guy that looks like he should have been on World Junior teams, and he needs to be a guy that looks like a first-round pick.
I don't know that he has to be on their top line.
I think he does. Maybe not, but like top 6 for sure. Like he needs to be an impact player in some way. Like he has to be a guy they lean on. Otherwise, for a first-round pick, I think it's just you need to see a lot more than what we've seen so far. We know it's there, but can it come back is the huge question.
I think he's in a good position to do so. I know his first couple of years at Wisconsin have been kind of tough. We kind of all know that. But I think Michigan State playing under Nightingale and then playing with he's played with guys like Isaac Howard before with the U.S. team. I'm looking forward to see maybe he has a little chip on his shoulder, and this is the year that we see what he really can do, why they drafted him with his size and his ability to skate through the puck. I'm just year, like you said, and I'm excited to see what he can do at Michigan State with a coach he's played under formerly.
Yeah, I mean, more of the same. Where again, like it's pretty rare that you have a kid like Charlie Stramel where it's like it feels as though we've said this is like the opportunity he has to take, and then somehow something happens where it's like, okay, I guess we can't really use that one against him. And it's just happened last like 3 years.
It's because he's one of us,
It's crazy. Like it's just like
we give home state people a pass.
It's like they draft. They're like, and by the way, Hastings is now the coach. It's like we're putting an asterisk next to that one as well. We went from like him just trying to play pro hockey at an OKT, or actually that team just sucked his freshman year. And it was like, all right, well, this year they have a really good recruiting class coming in. Like we just hired Mike Hastings, and it's like, all right, I bet we're gonna have to put another asterisk next to this season, and that's exactly what happened. He also got hurt this year. Again, I think the fact that this kid has already played and didn't even get selected last year, he's played 3 World Juniors. That's crazy. Like it's unbelievable. So the talent is not deniable. Like he is a kid that just has a super high floor. And before the going into his draft season after his freshman year, which did not go well, or right before his draft year, he was looked at as a top 15 kid. Like he was projected to be a top 15 player. And before the fucking season started, me and Hoppy did one of these shows, and it was one of our first ones together where I was like, I bet you Stramel's a kid that the Wild look at. Like, we don't have that guy. Like, he's a big, high floor. Like, there's some skill. There's some offensive upside. But the fact that his high floor, the size, and how mean he fucking is, and the fact that he is definitely a center, or at least projects to be a kid that should be playing center in the NHL, they don't have this in their prospect pool. I bet you Stramel's a kid they target. Of course, it happens after like a very bad year for Wisconsin in general. But I can't really, off the top of my head, think of a reason this year where we'd add a third asterisk next to we can't use this one. we've pretty much hit every possibility.
It'll be he had to learn new system, new coach.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I do think it's going to go well this year. I just like Michigan State in their style for him, especially where it's just like he can kind of be leaned on in any situation. Again, I don't think he needs to be like a top line guy, but the part I did agree with Brett was like he needs to be leaned on, where it's like, hey, if we need something done, like Stramel's over the boards and he's making something happen. He's played enough college hockey. He's had enough like international experience that he should be taking a big step forward. Like he should be making up for last year. So I think he should be a drastically different player if we still want to believe in him. But like, I still like the player. Like he is a big center, plays a really good two-way game when he's not killing people and being like undisciplined and like putting people through the glass from behind on purpose because he's mad. Which I mean, like when they did let him play last year, he honed that back. Like he pulled back a little bit on that.
He's just rankings just keep going and going and going.
Yeah. I was shocked he wasn't East number one.
He's a little bit under Leskovar,
like we've run out. Like this is actually the year. Like we don't have any more asterisks we can possibly throw out there for like this is why that didn't go well. We have to give him another chance. Like this is the one. So I am very confident that he's going to have a very good year. I think he is an NHL player. He might be a middle to bottom six, like defensive center, but either way, I think he is a really fucking good hockey player. He is a profile player that the Wild still don't really have a ton of in their pool, so he should have a future here. So I like Stramel a ton. I fucking hate the fact that you can't talk about him without someone like shitting on like the Wild drafting in general, where all of a sudden like Stramel comes up and is like, yeah, the Wild have always sucked at drafting. Like, how did we get here? Hate that. But so I still like a lot.
It goes back to if you switch Stramel and Height around, no one says a peep about that draft.
Exactly.
All three of those guys that went for throw Kumpulainen in there. You just reverse the orders. I guess Kumpulainen wouldn't have moved, but like everyone like, yeah, this checks out.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, Hoppy interviewed Judd Brackett, and he basically alluded to what you said, Z, and that like you with his high floor and what he brings, like how mean he is and having that underlying skill and experience, it's someone that you don't really want to pass on because you can find other high-skilled guys out of the CHL or other high-skilled college players even like later in the draft, and look what happened getting Riley Heidt in the second round, right?
And like, again, at this point, we've thrown the label at Stramel. It's like super high floor, but it's not like before he was like leading up to his draft year. It's not like he was a kid where it's like, like there isn't really much upside. Like he had always historically, he's had like a decently high ceiling. The thing that we're talking about is like, oh, he is a fucking NHL player for sure. But like there was a reason that he got taken 3 fucking World Junior tournaments. There was a reason he put up legit points when he was a junior hockey player, like playing for the program. There's a reason he went there when he was that young. Like he has always had upside. It's just like, wish he didn't choose Wisconsin. Like really wish he didn't do that.
That's a really bad choice.
But here we are.